288, Representative Hazel, relative to salary of certain member of Pineville Police Department.
Representative Hazel, on your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this is House Bill 288. It's a local bill. It was properly advertised. It mandates a 2% increase annually for the Pineville Police Department. It's supported by Mayor Clarence Fields. I'd be willing to answer any questions. I'd ask for favorable passage.
I have a question, Representative Hazel. It's a mandate on who? The city council or on the police chief?
What it is, Mr. Speaker, there is already 2 half-cent sales tax. 1 half-cent is dedicated to law enforcement tax. The other is a half-cent that's dedicated to employee benefit tax that's on the books. And it just, they have something now. This would ensure that they would be able to have this increase in the future. That might not be the right exact word, but these are already dedicated for this, and this language allows them to utilize those for an increase in the future.
But if they're already dedicated for it, they're not being utilized now for it?
No, I don't think so. No, sir.
Okay. All right. A question, Representative Perry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Representative Hazel, was this requested by the Chief of Police for Pineville?
Yeah, yes, and the rank and file FOP members and the Mayor Clarence Fields is in support of this.
City Council is aware of it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
It's the city of Sulphur.
We've got, I think, 4 more to do. And then we'll go back to
Sir? I could show you some other examples that we did in the past.
Question, Representative Gwynn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Hazel, did you get a resolution from the city of Pineville in order to allow you to do this?
Yes, sir. There's a letter of support. I don't have it presently with me, but I do have that, though.
But the city council adopted a resolution allowing for this?
No, I think what it was, Mr. Gwynn, is that the mayor generated a letter of support that was approved, and it says in the body of the letter that it's approved by the Pineville City Council.
They didn't adopt a resolution allowing you to do it.
I don't have a resolution. What I had was a letter of support from the mayor with their acceptance in that letter.
Question, Representative Cortez.
Hello. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. According to the fiscal note, they're already getting this 2%?
No, well, there's no fiscal note to it because it's just
Right,
local funds. But
I mean, it's zero fiscal note, but it says on the fiscal note at the bottom, the explanation that they're already receiving the 2% salary. So this is just saying that they have to be. The bill just deals with their completing the 1 year.
yeah, once they complete, they'll be eligible once they complete the first year of employment.
Okay, so but they're already receiving these funds, is what I'm saying.
I think the funds are there, but I don't think they are. I don't think they're right at the go to the police department right now. But they raise these funds, and the 2 separate half-cent sales tax are dedicated, and as I've mentioned to the speaker, that are set there.
Okay, thank you.
Question on the bill, Representative Pope.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Representative, if I'm reading this correctly, we as a state body are going to mandate that we grant a 2%, or the city of Pineville is going to grant a 2% increase in salary to these police officers for the next 30 years?
Mr. Pope, if you would hold that to your mouth, it's kind of hard to hear you.
I missed the first
sir,
part
I'm
of that.
sorry. You want me to repeat my question?
Would you please?
I'm reading this, and the way I read it or interpret it is that for the next 30 years, we're going to mandate the city of Pineville to pay a 2% increase in salary to these selected people, the police department. Is that correct? It says
That does say that in the abstract.
Yeah, I'm reading here proposed law. I mean, you know, Is this something that we as a state body need to be doing? Is the mandating that a local entity going to do something for the next 30 years? I would think that that's something that we may not be wanting to get into.
All I can say, Representative Pope, is that the city approached me for this particular bill, and it seems to me that the two separate half-cent sales tax, for whatever reason, it seems that it must come from us, or otherwise the city would be able to have done it on their own. And I know that this is similar. This is the bill that the city of Sulphur had last year. There are a number of agencies. This is the same as what they have in Bossier City, Lake Charles, Jennings, Abbeville, Monroe, and Sulphur. This is the exact, almost the same language that the city of Sulphur utilized for the same situation last year.
I see also in present law that be the case, but what I'm going is what if the city of Pineville is not able to come up with this revenue source?
Well,
if we put it shall give them a 2% for the next 30 years, then they have no choice. Whether revenue source is there or not, they're going to have to come up with that first. Is that correct?
no, that's absolutely correct. I think if that were the case, then at that time we could go back, if we have an instrument now, we could go back at a later date and have another instrument that could correct a potential situation if that comes up. But that's very similar to any situation that you have in the future that you don't know. You can't foresee the future. So, but I don't disagree with what you're saying. If it says shall, that's exactly right, though.
It does say shall, and for the next 30 years, I'm being very candid with you. I, for one, have an issue with this, that we're going to mandate any local entity to do something for the next 30 years. I just don't feel like, I'm not comfortable with that. Did you know?
Yes, sir, and I appreciate that, Representative Pope. And if it were not for the mayor, the city council, and the police department there, then I would not have carried the instrument for them.
Question on the bill, Representative Leger.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm just trying to get some clarification. I'm looking at last year's law, and isn't it true that in current law in this section, we mandate how much a sergeant gets paid, how much a lieutenant gets paid, how much a captain gets paid, how much a major gets paid, and how much an assistant police chief gets paid?
Yes, sir. According to the abstract, that's my appreciation.
And my appreciation also is, and tell me if I'm wrong, that we've already passed legislation, and in current law, Bossier City, Lake Charles, Jennings, Abbeville, Monroe, and Sulphur all get a 2% annual increase, and thereafter receive an annual increase of 2% per year of service?
Yes, Representative Leger, that's, as I was telling Representative Pope, that's my appreciation as well, and this is the exact language that was used last year in the City of Sulphur's bill that achieves the same thing.
Thank you.
Question on the bill, Representative Barrow.
Representative Hazel, also, just along as a tag to that, did you know that they came to you with that in order to be able to keep up with the cost of living increase, to be able to make sure that the individuals who are serving were actually able to be able to sustain their families?
That's correct, Representative Barrow. In fact, it was your committee that this bill was presented in front of, and there was testimony. A representative from the Pineville Police Department was there. I believe it was Sergeant Darrell Basco, and that, if I recall correctly, that was his testimony in your committee. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely, they came in. We gave that particular instrument a fair hearing. There were many questions that asked about the longevity of it and how they would actually be able to sustain it, and they did give adequate answers as it relates to the city is at a point where it's substantial to take care of those needs at this point, and they didn't foresee having any problems in the future.
That is correct.
Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, Representative Hazel, there are no other questions. You have a right to close.
I would waive.
All right, any waives is closing. Representative Hazel moves final passage of the bill. As many of you in favor of final passage vote yea, those opposed vote nay, and the clerk will open the machine. Are you through voting? Representative Ellington, yes. Representative Templet, yes. Are you through voting? Representative Mickey Gill, yes. Representative Gwynn, no. Are you through voting? Close machine, Mr. Clerk. 56 yeas and 21 nays, and the bill is finally passed. Representative Hazel moves to adopt the title. Representative Hazel moves to reconsider the vote by which the bill is finally passed and lay that motion on the table. Without objection, so ordered. Next bill.